I want you to think about yesterday, not last week, not last year, literally yesterday. What did you do with it? How present were you in it? How alive? How much of it do you actually remember, with any real texture or detail? For most people, yesterday is already a blur, and the strange, uncomfortable truth I want to talk to you about is this. If yesterday is already a blur, what does that say about what you are doing with today? I am 84 years old, and I have been thinking about this question for a long time. My name is Eugene. 84 years old, retired pharmacist, widower, father of 2 daughters who live in different cities and visit when they can. I have spent more of my life in my own head than anywhere else, thinking about the future, analyzing the past, planning, worrying, strategizing all the things that feel productive but are, in fact, ways of being absent from the only moment that actually exists. The present. I am a man who spent decades being everywhere except here. And what I lost in that habit, what disappeared while I was in my head instead of in my life, is what I want to tell you about. Let me describe something and see if you recognize it. You are somewhere at dinner, at a family gathering, on a walk, in a conversation with someone you love, and you are physically present but not really there. Your body is in the room. Your eyes are open. You are responding, nodding, performing the basic functions of presence. But your mind is somewhere else. In a work problem you haven't solved yet. In a conversation you're mentally rehearsing for tomorrow. In a worry about something that may or may not happen. In the background processing of 100 things that have nothing to do with the person in front of you. You are there, but you are not there. This happens to most of us, most of the time. We have normalized it. We call it multitasking, or being thoughtful, or having a lot on our minds. But here is what it actually is. It is the primary mechanism by which your life disappears. Not dramatically, not all at once, moment by moment, day by day, meal by meal, conversation by conversation. While you are somewhere else in your head, the actual moments of your actual life are passing. And unlike money, unlike health, unlike almost anything else, those moments cannot be recovered. Yesterday is permanently and completely gone, not just unavailable, gone. And if you were not fully in it, if you were somewhere else in your head, then for all practical purposes, it did not happen to you. It happened around you. My younger daughter's name is Claire. She is 52 now. She lives in another city, sees me a few times a year. We have a warm relationship, a genuinely good one. I love her deeply, and I believe she loves me. But there is something I carry when I think about her childhood. When Claire was between about 7 and 12 years old, I was at a particular point in my career, building a second location, managing a difficult partnership, financially stretched in ways that produced a constant low-level anxiety that never fully turned off. And during those years, those specific years of my daughter's childhood, I was physically present and mentally absent in a way that I can now, from this distance, see very clearly. I came home for dinner every night. I was there on weekends. I attended her school events. By every external measure, I was a present father. But I was in my head, constantly, reliably, almost completely. I remember Claire trying to tell me something at dinner. She was maybe 9 years old, something about a friend's situation at school, the kind of thing that is genuinely important to a 9-year-old but does not register as important to an adult who is mentally managing a financial crisis. And I remember listening, nodding, responding. And then, 30 seconds after she finished, I could not have told you what she said. I do not know if she noticed. Children are perceptive in ways we underestimate, and I suspect she noticed more than she let on. But what I know is this: during the years when my daughter was becoming who she is, I was not fully there. The conversations that could have happened didn't. Not because I was physically absent, but because I was not present enough for her to feel that what she said genuinely landed somewhere real. 20 years later, Claire mentioned something offhandedly, not as an accusation about how she always felt she couldn't quite reach me when she was young. that there was always something between us, a kind of glass. I knew exactly what that glass was. It was my own mind, busy with everything except her. Now, let me tell you about something else. When I was 68, my wife Ruth was diagnosed with early-stage Parkinson's disease. She was 66. We had retired the year before, and were in what we both thought would be the beginning of a long and leisurely chapter. Her diagnosis changed everything. But it also did something I did not expect. It made me present, almost immediately, like a switch. Because suddenly, not abstractly, but concretely and urgently, I understood that the time I had with her was specific and finite, in a way I could now actually see. And that understanding changed the quality of my attention completely. I stopped being in my head during our dinners. I started actually listening when she spoke. I started noticing things: the way she laughed, the specific way she held her coffee cup, the sound of her voice when she was tired versus when she was well. The last 8 years of Ruth's life, 8 years of a progressive illness that gradually took things from her, were, paradoxically, the years I was most fully present in our marriage. And I am ashamed that it took a diagnosis to get me there. Because the quality of presence I gave her in those 8 years, I could have given her that all along. For 35 years before the diagnosis, she deserved that presence and I was somewhere else. I want to talk about what presence actually is, because I think it is deeply misunderstood. We tend to think of presence as the absence of distraction, as putting the phone down, turning off the television, removing the external things that pull our attention away. And that is part of it, but only the surface part. Real presence, the kind that another person can actually feel, is not just the removal of distraction. It is the active, intentional direction of your attention toward what is in front of you, toward the person, the moment, the experience. Not just with your eyes and your ears, but with a genuine interest in what is actually there. The difference is felt. Children especially feel it immediately. They know whether you are actually with them or performing the motions of being with them. They may not have language for it, but they feel it. And adults feel it too, in friendships, in marriages, in every relationship. We are exquisitely sensitive to whether the other person is actually here with us or somewhere else. Real presence is a gift. It is genuinely one of the most valuable things one human being can give another. To be fully seen, fully heard, fully attended to, it is rarer than most people realize, and more nourishing than almost anything else. And most of us are terrible at it, not because we don't love the people we are with, but because we are so habituated to being in our heads, so practiced at the background processing of worry and planning and analysis, that we have lost the ability to simply be in a moment without also being somewhere else. Here is the thing I want you to sit with. Every moment you are somewhere else in your head, you are missing the only moment that actually exists. Not in a metaphorical sense, literally. The present moment is all there is. The past is gone and cannot be re-entered. The future has not arrived and may not arrive in the form you expect. Right now, this moment, this conversation, this meal, this walk, this evening with someone you love, this is it. This is the actual substance of your life. And if you are not here for it, if you are managing some mental background process, instead of being in the actual moment, your life is passing without you. I want to say something that is difficult to say without sounding dramatic. Most people are not fully alive most of the time. They are alive in the biological sense. They are moving through their days, doing their tasks, having their conversations. But there is a specific quality of aliveness, a heightened engagement with the actual texture of actual experience that most people access only occasionally. In moments of crisis, or intense joy, or profound loss. Moments where the usual mental background noise falls away and there is just this. Just the immediate, direct, unmediated experience of being alive. Those moments are astonishing. Everyone recognizes them. The problem is that most people experience them as exceptional as interruptions of their normal state, rather than as what their normal state could be. Ruth's diagnosis interrupted my normal state of mental absence in a way that forced me into genuine presence. And what I found there in the actual direct experience of my life, undiluted by mental noise, was more vivid and more real and more nourishing than anything I had experienced in years. And then I understood what I had been missing, not just with Ruth, with Claire, with everyone, with my own life. I had been living at one remove from my actual experience for decades, managing it, analyzing it, planning it, but not actually in it. That recognition, that specific, painful, irreversible recognition, is the thing I most want to give to you while you still have time to do something about it. Yesterday is gone, but today is here, and you can choose right now to be fully in it. I want to give you one practice, just one, not a philosophy, a practice, something concrete you can do today. Pick 1 hour, just one. Dinner, a walk, a conversation with your child, whatever is available to you today. And for that 1 hour, I want you to commit to being completely there. Phone in another room. No mental background processing. If your mind wanders to work or worry or planning, just bring it back. Gently, without judgment, just come back here. And then pay attention. Pay attention to the specific quality of what you find when you are fully present. The detail in a face you know well. The texture of a conversation when you are actually listening rather than waiting to respond. The specific sensory reality of wherever you are. You will likely find it more interesting than you expected, because life, when you are actually in it, is genuinely interesting. The people around you are more complex and more surprising than the simplified version you carry in your head. The moments are richer than they appear when you are only half there. 1 hour, today, and then tomorrow, maybe 2 hours, and then maybe, gradually, a life where you are actually present for it. That is what I am working on at 84. And I wish with everything I have that I had started decades earlier. Tell me in the comments, when was the last time you were completely present? Fully here, no mental background noise, just in the actual moment? And what were you doing? Because whatever that was, that is a clue about what your life is trying to tell you it needs more of.